Alrighty, got myself a nice little glass of whiskey, and let's go ahead and let's discuss a Guild War match featuring quite possibly some of the worst luck that I've ever experienced with no actual threat of losing. It's a weird situation. But either way, yeah, we have Illynav, Shadow Knight Pyllis, and Magic Scholar Doris. So we pretty much have all of our bases covered, because what we're fighting is Senya, Conqueror, Lilias, and Apocalypse Ravi. And also, by the by, you'll see it whenever you eventually see the Apocalypse Ravi go in. She has DDJ. Yeah. So, this was just some PvE shenanigans right here. But, hey, whatevs. That's just how it is for some people. I can understand that. I think, like, for probably the best, Apocalypse Ravi that you really could have on defense, you're either rocking Proof of Valor, or you're probably... Like, I think what you should probably do is, like, a Strax Gauntlet, because, like, you know, Crimson Siege just not a thing anymore. But, I don't know. That's neither here nor there. But basically, what you're watching here is you're straight up seeing me realize, like, well, wait a minute. While I'm doing this, did I forget to equip my my Elbrus? Because that Illynav that I'm using does have Elbrus on her right now. I'm not getting lucky. There's not a whole lot of punish procs, which that was a punish proc right there. But, like, this is the only Elbrus you're going to see. Out of all of these hits that are going in, these dual attacks that Conqueror Lilias is doing, these random attacks from Senya, random attacks from Apocalypse Ravi, that is the only Elbrus you are going to see throughout the entire fight. So it does sometimes make me wonder, damn, what if I was using another artifact? But, like, I really can't think of another artifact that I could use for Illynav over Elbrus, because this is just straight up bad luck. Like, that's all this is. This is just straight up bad luck. But you're gonna see this same exact match happen again, where everything's gonna be kind of like just swapped on its head, because the RNG will be all over the place in completely different areas. But, like, right here, you see we had this all in the bag, because any and all injuries that we were able to throw into Apocalypse Ravi is only going to go into Doris, and whenever Apocalypse Ravi is injured and she's going into Doris, you essentially have no real threats. And as really, really annoying as Senya is, whenever you go into Senya with, like, other bruisery options, you really don't have anything to worry about. Like, the big thing that, like, makes Senya scary and why she shows up on so many defenses is because she's kind of there to just kind of, like, placate the really, really fast and, like, cleave kind of people. Which, yeah, I can understand that, because you're going into it with, like, a 50-50 chance of either critting or not critting, and if you don't crit Senya, you take, like, a pretty big reflect damage. And, yeah, if you're squishy, you definitely don't want that to happen. But, like, hey, here, because I go in with a fairly bulky team a lot of the times, I never really have issues with Senya. It just doesn't happen. And it looks like that is the end of this first round. Now, for the second fight, I was just like, well, let's see if we can actually get a little bit interesting here. So we have Roana, we have Dark Corvus, and we have Alencia. So I see that we have Mercedes, then we have Choux, and then we have Unbound Knight Arowell. So Unbound Knight Arowell is there pretty much to try and, like, prevent one-shots, which it would have happened, but we do get a little lucky, and I'll explain it whenever it pops up. So we've only been, like, 3 turns in, and Dark Corvus already almost has his S3. So with that said, we're primed and ready to just straight up nuke Mercedes. Now, we're going to give it a shot, and we're going to see if this Arowell is on effect resist or not. Because you just never know. You either have to take the risk and you have to go for it and just see what happens, or you just got 15%ed and you straight up never know. So right here, that is not and effect resist Unbound Knight Arowell. Now, because of that, she doesn't have Escort anymore, and that leaves that Mercedes free and wide open to be one-tapped by Dark Corvus without the need of a Soul Burn Dark Descent. So with that, we've gotten rid of Mercedes, which straight up Mercedes wasn't even really like a super threat because we had Roana with us. So any and all like Magic for Friends, counterattacks, anything of that nature that would have like hit into us, we would have been completely fine. Because yeah, like God, guys, there's so much just like counter horseshit that's on right side right now that like this is the main reason why I'm just using Roana literally everywhere. So, like, hey, right here, Conqueror, Choux is already straight up at max injury. She's useless. She's not going to be able to do anything anymore. And Arowell has full HP, but even if you have a lot of HP, you're not going to survive a Soul Burned Dark Descent from Dark Corvus, because that's almost 30k. Just straight up. And with that said, there she goes. Delicious. So, now we're going to be dealing with some Lua shenanigans. So here's Lua, Mercedes, and Savior Adin. A lot of good luck ends up happening in this fight, along with like a lot of really, really weird-ass luck. Like, for example, I'm pretty sure I get 15%ed on like Edward at one point. But either way, the first equivalent exchange hit the Savior Adin, and now this one missed, but still, we've already done a very, very big hit on Savior Adin, and we've already killed Mercedes once. Now, because we're going into Mercedes with Roana, I just don't care. Like, I'm going to get so many heals just from proccing Magic for Friends, proccing counters, proccing any and all of the other bullshit that Mercedes does. I just straight up don't care. Like right here, I'm still pretty much at full HP, and Unbound Knight Arowell is only there just so, like, I have a little bit more defense, and the reason I have this set up the way it is, because anytime I have a unit in the back row and I have Roana here with me, anytime they're all rocking the same percentages of health, the barriers and like the heal priorities are always going to go into the back row. So, that being said, like, hey, who's the unit in the game who's going to be taking the most damage? It's going to be Unbound Knight Arowell because she's going to be taking all that damage. And with that said, that was pretty much my strategy. So, hey, we dealt with Mercedes. We managed to get a couple of good hits on Savior Adin. There were no dark units for her to hit, so there really wasn't any kind of issue. By the by, that was a weird-ass strip plus 15% right there. Didn't hit Ed. I love it when that happens. But either way, that is that match right there. Now, this is literally the exact same fight that we just had at the very, very beginning of the video. Now, the only difference is that this Apocalypse Ravi is actually much more well-built and actually going to be a somewhat threat. The other big thing is she's also going to be on counter set. Something that I usually don't see all too often nowadays. A lot of people have kind of forsaken their counter set gear on a Ravi, especially what with like the whole Crimson Seed thing just not really being a thing anymore, which is funny because counter set is the only way you could even really get Crimson Seed to work nowadays. But hey, I completely understand why like it's not a super desirable kind of like set anymore. But like you're gonna see right here real quick just like how much damage the Apocalypse Ravi is still able to do. Now, like, thankfully, I was able to, like, kind of keep my cool and through a lot of this, and also I got a couple of good opportunities for some Illynav Elbrus counterattacks. It did happen a few times here, so there was some good luck that happened. Sure, not a lot of punishes, but they were still some good opportunities. So here I attempt, like, okay, well, let me see if I can go into Apocalypse Ravi one more time. Of course, I get countered again. So right here is where it's like, okay, stop fucking around. Go for the Conqueror Lilias until we can at least properly heal, recover, and then we can start going into everything again. So that's basically what I do right here, and just any and all Elbruses that proc, we'll just have those go in, have them do whatever they do whenever they happen. So right here I'm going to Soul Burn the S2 here, get myself some really big defense buffs, and like that, like, you know, the HP buff, because you get 3 turns of that whenever you Soul Burn it. Absolutely incredible. And with that said, all we need is like, one turn cycle through, and we're pretty much going to be at full HP and we're ready to go. Because like I rock Prophetic Candle on Doris just because her cooldowns are insane. That's like the only thing that's really bad about Doris, period. Yet Doris is still like an absolutely incredible like PvE kind of unit, because like any dark units that go into her, they just do less damage, and you also get like a little baby heal on like all your units. It's super based, but like all of her skills take forever to cool down. That's like the only reason why I still have Prophetic Candle on her. And that's really like anytime I see a good opportunity, like I have two other really good units that are with me, that's why I bring Doris into like Apocalypse Ravies. You used to be able to do that way back in the day whenever like Apocalypse Ravi didn't do injury. It was whenever they added the injury and like all that scalable damage on her S3 is where like you kind of had to stop using Doris, at least just Doris, because she would eventually break through you. But like, I mean, as the game has gone on, I found you find more ways of dealing with it, and in which like the best way of dealing with a Ravi, like period, is injury. It's one of the best ways that you can ever deal with her. Like, if I wanted to, I didn't need to use Illynav here. I could have brought Alencia if I wanted to, because Alencia is a really incredible like injury answer. Like just 2 of her turns into a single target, they're pretty much at max injury, because that's just how she works. Especially if you're rocking an injury set. Whereas Illynav can still kind of do the same thing. It just feels like it's slightly slower in terms of getting up on the injury department. But whenever you go in with Illynav, you will kill a unit. So here was another thing I was attempting to do. I was actually going to try and utilize Lone Crescent Bellona on my... she had a lifesteal set here. Normally, she was on an injury set because it was like the strongest set that I could really get, and then it also would kind of nerf the Choux anytime I'm going into a Conqueror, Lilias, Senya, Choux kind of comp. And it was pretty much right here that I learned that there's 2 factors that I have to have in order to utilize this strategy. Number 1, the first thing is if I get 15%ed by... Mediator Kawerik, like when I'm attempting to strip right here for Choux, if I get resisted, which I do right here, then I really cannot guarantee that this S3 is going to kill this kill the Choux. And this does like almost nothing. Like that could have been a really thick Choux. It's very possible. But if I was rocking injury, that would have at least been probably about 20% injury damage on her, and then she would have done a lot less damage. In fact, right here, it's kind of debatable. She probably might not have killed me. But because of that whole incident right there, I cannot recover from this situation. So I'm just going to go ahead and move forward about 50 turns. And yeah, I'm just not going to waste everybody's time with that. I wasn't able to recover from that situation, and I couldn't bring her back. Now, if I wanted to, what I could have done is I could have very easily just rocked any kind of Shadow Knight Pyllis, Roana, and like Arunca kind of comp for that, because that's what I usually do whenever I'm fighting it. Now, the only reason why I didn't want to do that was I wanted to try something different, and also because down here I just never take any chances fighting Mercedes. Anytime I'm fighting Mercedes, I almost always bring Roana into that, just because like I just know Magic for Friends is going to fuck me. It always happens every single time. Like, the Lua isn't the thing that really frightens me, because I have Edward here who's gonna, like, go into all of it and make everything work out. It's actually the Mercedes. So, with that being said, now that we've gotten our opportunity here, we can just go into the Mercedes, we'll deal with her, and then the only other real, like, super problem character left is gonna be Apocalypse Ravi. So, thankfully, we have, like, Sylvan Sage Vivian here with us, but it actually is getting kind of close using Sylvan Sage, because, like, we've already utilized her S3, and we're down to, like, 1 focus right now, so every hit that Apocalypse Ravi does into Sylvan Sage, it will take one of your focus away. So, the good thing is, if you have, like, a barrier, which I do almost the entire time, I'm pretty safe, but... the problem is, if you don't do enough damage quick enough, like if you don't... because I don't have attack buff here. So I was actually getting a little bit worried just going into this because I was afraid, oh, damn, I might actually run out of focus for going into Apocalypse Ravi. Because this is the only thing that's a real threat. It's the only thing that's a threat. Whereas if I had, like, I don't know, say, like, Mediator Kawerik here, you know, stuff like that, then I would have attack buff and I would do way, way more damage, stuff like that. But I don't know, anytime you're dealing with Lua, you have to have a counter for her because Lua is just like the stupidest fucking character in existence. Mercedes is a character who I just refuse to fight, like, in a fair setting. I almost always bring Roana into that. And just any and all, like, actual light bait for a Ravi is... So I decided to go with Sylvan Sage because if I brought Spirit Eye Celine, I just think the odds of me being killed by just some random bullshit was just going to be too high. And with that said, that is the Guild War. And with that said, hey, I hope you guys enjoyed it. One thing in particular I'm going to go ahead and just bring up real quick. I'm not going to make anything for Friday, so yeah, there's not going to be anything coming out Friday, Saturday, or whatever. I'm going to try and maybe have something come out Sunday. And I don't know, we'll see. It really all depends on like how well the Guild War does and what my time frame is. I'm gonna be going like out of town for at least like the weekend, just to try and recharge my batteries. I have not had like any time to like really rest since I got back from Vegas. Like I finally have gotten over like the sickness that I had from whenever I was from there, but oh my god, it's just. I'm just exhausted. I need a break. I need to go down, hang out with a few friends, and just chill out, eat good food, play some video games, and not even worry about Epic 7. I'll try and like actually like work on maybe building a few units here and there. It just depends on kind of like my work schedule and my mood. But, yeah, that's kind of the schedule. Like, we're not going to have anything come out Friday, but I'll try my best to see if I can have something come out Saturday. And maybe I'll see if I can get something different. It really all depends on the defenses that you fight. I mean, so, hey, it's on them, not on me. But, hey, if you like this video, I hope you guys go ahead and like it. If you want to see more of my content, go on ahead and hit subscribe. I will see you later.